Make sure the pee is separated fully. Then throw your poop and some worms in a pile. Add a certain focus to finish off the worm home. You'll have compost if you wait a little while. Use your poop as fertilizer. Use your poop to fertilize. Use poop as fertilizer. 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 Use your poop. Use your poop as fertilizer. You'll become a womanizer. Always give an appetizer. Study hard and you'll be wiser if you're stuck in an advisor. If it's something whereabouts you cheat, build the size you poop as fertilizer. Use your 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 poop. Use your.
All right, welcome everyone to the Eve Growing Concepts. Today's video is, you might not want to look at it because we're going to be dumping out my outputs, my personal outputs. So if things make you squeamish, this may be one of them. I think it's important on many levels. First of all, these red wigglers, as I've said in other videos, they love our outputs better than pumpkin or squash, the things that they're a favorite. So I just dumped out my first bin right here. What I'm doing is I'm juggling about 3 and 4 bins like that. So it takes 3 bins, fermenting bins, and I'll show you a picture of that, of what it looks like. It's very small. It's separate from my other system, my Vernmenting system, but it's been working so good. 8 weeks definitely is completion. In fact, that's where I got the 8-week timeline from, processing my own personal outputs. Now, this, I gotta, most certainly gotta give a plug to Josph Jenkin.
I might as well add my pet peeve, and that is, you'll see there is nothing here that you can call waste. There is no waste in this system. Nothing is wasted. There's no kitchen waste or yard waste or human waste or any kind of waste going into this process. It's organic materials, toilet materials, kitchen scraps. None of it is wasted. None of it is called waste or referred to waste. If you refer to materials that you're recycling as waste, you don't understand recycling. Recycling eliminates waste. You don't call recycled or composted materials waste. It's not waste. Waste is what's discarded with no further use and put in a landfill, not a compost pile. So it would be great if that terminology could be advanced a little in the composting community. Anyway, that's my pet peeve. I hope everybody understands. I doubt it, but I'll keep repeating it until it sinks in.
Poop, poop, poop in a bucket, yeah, and we'll save the world.
To Josph Jenkin, who has been composting him and his family's outputs for a very long time, 40 years. So a plug down there for him. He's got his 4th edition on the Humanure Handbook. Very great book for those of you who want to start composting. Josph Jenkin, like myself, composts everything. There are no no-nos, and he's got a great system. So for you people who live in India, homeless people, people who camp, people who boat, people who, this method of dealing with our outputs could be far better than the way you're dealing with it now, especially you people in India who don't have inside plumbing, and all your women and children especially go out and do it out in the open, late at night, early in the morning, so nobody sees them. You could put a bathroom in every room. It's just about how you handle it. And for myself, I can turn any toilet into a dry toilet, as I do. And it's so simple to make a potty for somebody to put anywhere in your house, any private place in your house. So I think it's very important on many levels. And, you know, I don't mean to dog people from India who do that, because we in the Western world are no better. When you think about, we flush it all away in our drinking water. How insane is that? We do it so nonchalantly, and we don't even think about where it all goes and how it gets treated and how it comes back to us in the form of our drinking water. All the chemicals that they use to treat this to get it back to drinking water. It's just insane on a lot of levels. So is it as insane as going in the open air? I think it is. I think it's very comparable. So, and I go on some of these YouTube videos and I see people dogging people in India. Oh, you guys are gross. You let your women and children and yourselves go into the defecate in the open. How uncivilized is that? And then we think of ourselves, who think we're so damn westernized, going in our water supply, right? It's just so easy to do. But guess what? Somebody has to handle it. Somebody has to treat it. And people make a ton of money treating it. Now, if we could learn how to treat it ourselves, and again, we've got a couple great methods, Josph Jenkins, and I don't know which is better, because I think of Josph Jenkins, especially with many people, I'm doing it myself, feeding it to the reds. But there are, and Josph Jenkins is doing hot composting. So I think his way is probably better when you're doing multiple people. For myself, I've been experimenting in my basement. I've been processing it in my basement. All right. And it is a little work, but again, somebody's got to do it on the other end. And, you know, we're just not accustomed to it. So this video, I want to dump out some of my outputs in here, and just to give you a sense of the befores and after, how you pack it. You're going to see some rolls that I've already deposited outputs in, and you're going to see what it looks like in the end. So if you're squeamish about humanure and the like, something like that, you might not want to watch the rest of this video. All right, so I've already dumped out a bucket, and this is what it looks like. And again, reds like it as much as pumpkin and squash. So here's what it kind of looks like. This has been processed for, that's all worm castings. Now you have to remember, folks, when I put these, they're in a roll. So if there's no paper left, then it's all been eaten by the reds. Everything has been processed through the reds. So let me get a card here, and we'll clean this out. Those of you who follow my videos know that it's very easy to clean these out with a card. So that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, let's see if I can get you on there. And again, there's absolutely no smell right now, because it's all, like Josph Jenkin says, it's all about cover. Cover, cover, cover. Cover with a carbon. And the way I cover here is, see, that's all pure castings right there. That's all pure castings. I've turned my outputs into garden gold. And this is exciting. So if you live off the grid, if you're hoping to live off the grid and you're thinking of a way to handle your output, which is a major concern when you want to try to be self-sustainable, you want to, that's a big one. Sanitation, right, is a biggie. So that's that. Now I'm cleaning this one. I'm going to use this bucket again, and I'm going to add some fresh ones, fresh rolls. And again, 8 weeks, and it's castings. All right, some of this old material is only, some of this old material here was new material last, and the old material that was added is gone. It's castings. So it's been working very good. I never have a problem with my outputs, and you'll see that when you open it up, I have very little vermin in here as well. Compared, it looks kind of like something gross, but this is all casting, folks. And again, there is no smell right now. Now this, all right, let me put this here like this. I'm gonna repack another one. Subfloor, newspaper. So once a month, by the time I finish can you see what I'm doing here? You don't need to see this. You guys who follow my channel have seen this. But when I finish a 6-gallon bucket with composting rolls, personal output composting rolls, by the time that's full, it's a month for me, okay? And you'll see that when I open it up. All right, and it's just to give those people an idea of how you have to deal with it. Now, people who live in my small town who may see this are going to think I'm crazy, and who knows what the heck can happen. But I feel it's important to share, because the world is a mess, and part of it is our sanitation. And as our inner cities start to crumble, our sanitation, our sewers and stuff start to crumble, we're going to have to come up with another idea with it, or spend millions, billions of dollars fixing them. You think of London, New York, and all these old sanitation pipes, they have to be repaired someday. And It costs a lot of money. But if we did it ourselves, think of all the situations this could be very important in the world to come and for people right now. Rolling your outputs, your 2's, in a composting roll, you have full control over it. Plus the fact that you're going in a private location where you could put a toilet anywhere. Roll it up in that composting roll. You can throw it away. You can bury it. You can put it in your composting bins. So many ways we can handle our organic outputs safely. All right, so that's that. Now let's put the old stuff in here. This one's pretty much done. See, this was the newspaper. They eat inside out. Okay, so this is pure castings right here. This one's an older roll that's in the paper. That'll be gone the next time I open this bin up. This one too. So you don't even open the rolls, but when you see the paper, they've eaten the inside out, and that's just the newspaper. I wrap it up. And so let me go get my fresh bucket of stuff that the food I've been working on for them. Nothing wasted, right? All is sacred. So can you see that down below here? Okay, you can. I'm going to open this up. And this, when you open this up, there is a smell to it, all right? That is for sure. All right, so that's what they look like. That's what my outputs look like right here. Okay, I've gone in a carbon. It's a little work. It may seem strange, but it's cover. And there is a little bit of a smell going on there. But once you put it in this bin, that smell is gone. All right, so, and I know this is a little odd, guys, but again, there's plenty of people in the world that this could be very beneficial for. All right, I'm going to add a little lime to this for some grit for these guys. Are we seeing what I'm doing here on the side here? Let's get a little lime. And so I'll put a couple layers down. Maybe I'll add a little Duff here. Duff, Diterius under forest floor. And then add a little more. So, like Josph Jenkins, he does his the hot composting way, which is great in its own right. Because at the end, when he's done with his bin, the way Josph Jenkin does it, he starts on one bin, and when that's full, he goes to another bin. And by the time that second bin is done, his first one is complete. Now, that is a great method. We can do 1 and 2 in the same bin at the same time, so that's a positive. So when his family goes, they go into this bucket, and they always put sawdust or whatever carbon material they use. For me, I was thinking, if I was ever to go that route, you can use this stuff here, Duff. You could use minced cardboard. He uses sawdust, I think. And you could use minced leaves, finely minced leaves. There's another one. As long as it's a carbon, it'll cover. So when Josph Jenkins does it, each time he goes, each one of the family members goes, 1 or 2, both going the same, he always covers with a carbon so it doesn't smell up the bathroom. And that's the interesting thing about carbon is when you do cover something that's really gross, the smell literally disappears. So he kind of layers, each person goes in and knows it's a technique that they all learned at a young age. And for myself, I go right into a carbon. I go into a paper bag, and there's many ways of setting it up. I go in paper bags, I go in newspaper, and I live in the Western world. I live in Connecticut, where I certainly could just easily flush it away. It was an experiment at first, and then it turned into something I've been doing for many years now. I've not gone... I have not put my outputs in the drinking supply, in our watersheds supply. So I'm psyched about that. All right, so this is all newspaper. Look at these reds too. Look at how happy and rich they look. Right? They look so happy. So I just throw that right in there. And they're happy because they like our outputs. Now this one, there's no 2 on here. They've eaten it, and now they're going to eat the paper to it. And again, this part may smell a little bit because it's fresh. This does not smell. And as you can see, I've used this baggy stuff here. This was a dog bag that I used, and it's breaking down quite well in my bin. I'll just throw that right in here like that. And now this will go like that, and I'll add a couple more rolls. Boom to here like that. Boom, boom. A lot of rolls in here. There, boom, boom. And can you see this part? Can you see that I'm doing? Yeah. All right, boom. Now this smells. You got a little bit of a smell there. But once it's done, it's done. And, you know, I'm not opposed to doing it myself instead of having somebody else. Now, that's done. Now, basically, since I'm not in a great rush for these castings at all, I'll just put this right on top of it. I'm not in a rush for them. But they are really awesome castings. Look at that. I see some, I see that there. That's not good. I see some potworms a little bit in there. But that's it. Look at how this is the best material. I don't know how corn got in there. But let me add a little bit more worms under here. I've got a bunch more that I want to get at. These on here like that, right? Get a little bit more on here. All these on here. This is done. I'm gonna cap it. I'm gonna cap it, and then I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna mark it for another month, 30 days. Today is February 1st. I'll mark this March 1st. 2022, and that is when I'll open that again. Let's go get another one. All right, folks, what I see, you see, all right? Excuse the mess down here. I will straighten that out. Get over here, you guy. All right, what I see, you see. Oh my God, it smells just like earth. Just like earth. So my itchay doesn't day ink stay. All right, so let me clean it out. This is all casting crumb, like cake crumb. Love it. Again, this is great for you campers, you people who do boating, hikers, people who have cabins in the woods instead of this thinking of a whole different way to sanitize. Make sure you get some newspaper, or again, Josph Jenkins has a great method as well. So you can put a bathroom in everybody's room. Nobody has to go out to an outhouse. There's no need. Keep your compost outside, your compost pile. I think this holds many possibilities. Okay, get my can. Boom. Boom, boom, and newspaper. Boom, boom, and then, you know, let's take a look at this this aeration tube. All right, I'll use that again. All right, boom, boom. So I'm turning it, instead of treating my outputs with chemicals to try to get it back into drinkable water, I'm turning it into awesome growing. And there's a couple safes here, because everybody's probably thinking pathogens and all that. Here's a couple good news. First of all, the science is there where red wigglers greatly reduce pathogens in like manner that hot composting does and cold composting does. So what happens here with these is the worms will work on it. It'll go through the worms, and these will be cold composted for a little while as well. And these will go into my plants, my non-edibles. This, along with my pet stuff, goes to non-edibles. And I don't think I necessarily have to worry about, it's just an added precaution that I do. Because the chances of, the way I grow, the chances of my leaves ever touching the soil is very slim to none. So, let me see. So think of this, folks, when you may be embarrassed for me or whatever like that. Think of the money I'm saving from the chemicals we don't need to use and stuff like that. So this is one that they haven't got to. They're inside. I won't open that because it's might not be good. All this paper goes right in here like that. This one, just throw it in. Again, I'm not in a rush for these castings at all, as one could imagine. That's going to go there. And there's probably tons. Look at this one. Is a roll. This was a roll. I see cocoons here as well. But watch this, folks. This is what the roll looks like when all is said and done. Look at that. That's what happens. These worms have just completed that and turned my outputs into magic. In fact, this is such crumb. I'll keep it like that. Take what little paper is left and throw it back in here. Now I'm going to add some fresh rolls as well. Again, I'm juggling 3 at a time. Like that. This one, I want to experiment. It's in a popcorn bag. I have a feeling there's plastic in that bag too. We'll see. I look forward to experimenting with that. Alrighty then. There. And there. Let me add a little bit of Duff. And a little bit of lime. Okay. And now we'll put the rest of this in here. Like this. Boom, boom. And so I could start this one. Like you could just tell that this one, I won't open it because I'm in fear of what you'll see. But this is all castings around it. They've all gone inside, eaten within. And so the paper is the last that gets eaten on that. Again, folks, there is no smell on this level here. There's a little bit of a smell here. You can see some mold and stuff growing on here. There's a little bit of a smell there. But for myself and the stuff that I deal with, it's not that bad.
Sometimes when people complain, I say, yes, I know it's a smelly operation. We got lots of systems to deal with it. But we're taking care of your poo for you.
I don't mind the smell because I deal with a lot of gross stuff in the course of my day, and that's what it takes. If you want to turn your organics into awesome soil amendments or soil base, you have to just deal with certain smells. But if you do it right, it only smells for a little time. All right. Yeah, I'm finding right now, the more I do it, that 3 bins is good for 1 person. So calculate that for fermenting. For fermenting, 3 bins for 1 person. So, and the beauty about this is you can do it inside. Okay, this might not be the best method. There might be other better methods, but with this method in these fermenting bins, it's totally enclosed. So let's get the rest of this in here like that. All right, I got 1 more bin to open up. So let's do that. I was going to do this as a live video, but I think I want to edit it and I want to show you the different bathroom setups that I use. And so you can work upon that. There's that. These castings feel just amazing. They're light, very little liquid either. It's a dry bin, of course, for the most part. All right, let me get some worms on this side here. Let's see here. I've got them all under here like that. All right, so let's put these on here. I want to put a ton of worms on here now. So even next time I open it, I won't see nothing but castings. And you know what? Here's the deal too, folks. With fermenting your personal outputs, 8 weeks I say, but I open them every 4 weeks. With humanure, I think you can go the whole 8 weeks because I never have a problem with these bins. All right, but this again was 4 weeks that I had these for. But 8 weeks, if you went 8 weeks with that, there'd be nothing left in here. They'd eat it all. So that's kind of, and that's the kind of ratio you have to worry about. How many worms you add. If you add a lot of worms, they eat it fast, then they're going to be, they might go a few weeks without eating anything. So I like the 4 week, time limit because it lets me check on the bin. So again, I'm going to cap this. I'm going to mark it and date it. I'm going to add it to the other bin. Let me go get another one. And again, excuse this mess. One day I'll get it organized. So let me go for my last bin over here. This is a separate system that I had over there to the left. It was a separate system in its own right compared to that bigger system that's over there. Those buckets, those fermenting bins over there, that whole wall, they're all tied into each other as far as their irrigation goes. All the liquid goes to one simple spot. With this humanure one, it's just a one vertical where there's a pan underneath, very little liquid I get there that that is a separate farm in its own right. So the farms can expand and contract depending on the grower. That's the beauty about Vernmenting. You start off with one bin, go to the next bin. All right, ready? Let's see what it looks like, folks. What I see, you see. Bam. All right, let's dump it out. Okay, that's what that looks like. And I gotta clean this bin out too. Never does it smell anaerobic. It smells just earthy. I'm not even gonna bother scraping all that castings out of there because just make sure when you're doing it, all your screens are in place, all your eave fittings. You have to call them eave fittings now instead of aeration fittings because there's multiple uses for them. Those who follow my channel know what I'm talking about. Now, look at this. And where's my aeration tube, which is here. Remember, this was the bottom bin as well, so all the two bins above it, the liquid was dropping right down to here and then into pan below. Alrighty, so hopefully we can get all this in N3 bins with nothing left over. If I have to go a fourth bin, I don't mind. I have enough room in my ceiling to go higher with that. Alright, so let's put all this material. This is the bottom. This is the bottom that I put just over the subfloor. All that paper, that usually is gone the next time around. This is a roll, like I showed you before. I don't think I'm scared to open this one up because I think it's going to be all castings. Look at that. That's what they did, guys. All the two is gone. These little guys ate them. They look so healthy. Again, it's like pumpkin. It's their favorite. Our outputs is their favorite. These heavenly creatures have us covered. It reminds me, and I've said this before, it reminds me of the cartoon The Flintstones when they'd use animals to do their work for them. That's kind of what the red wiggler reminds me of when I think of what these worms are doing for us. Sanitation people of the world, they don't want you to know that you can do it yourself. And you can do it far better than them using no chemicals and no heavy equipment. If we all learn just to be natural ourselves, do it ourselves. We can do it. There's a learning curve. We're almost on 30 minutes too, so I have to edit this guy out. All right, so here's another bag. This might have been just a regular, my dog bag that I threw in here, so I'm just gonna add that right in here. This one is a roll that they're just going into. And hopefully I have enough. Yeah, this is gonna be good. 3 buckets is what I've been juggling. It's a roll. It's not very gross. Right there, it's all in there. Little mold is growing on there, but other than that, folks, it's not that bad. It's a little work on my end, but again, somebody's got to do it one way or the other. I'm doing it right. That's what I think in my head. It looks a little outside the box for sure, but it's far better for the planet, and that's what it's all about. This one here, I bet it's all. Let's look at it. Little greens thing in there. What is in there? What else is in that one? I don't know what that is. I'm going to edit that out. All right, this. Hopefully I can get all this in here. Then, of course, I can go to a fourth bin, again, like I said. There. Yeah, I may have to go to a fourth bin. All right, that's fine. I don't mind. Okay, maybe I could have jammed it in there if I stuffed them down more, but I like aeration to go through that part of it. I was hoping these castings wouldn't mix with my other ones. That's why I had the paper down. I have a bunch of worms down here from emptying another bin out. But they're mixing, which is kind of, some people may say, you're not very good about separating your output castings with your regular castings. But the truth of it is, folks, a guy like me who who feeds his reds everything from raw chicken to, well, you name it. That's what I feed him. I feed him everything. There's nothing that's off limits. So pathogens, I'm hoping that the science that I've looked into is right on about the pathogens that are on there. Again, there's no smell here. It smells earthy. I'm going to throw the rest of these in here like that. And I've got a couple more 2 rolls here. Add some more worms. So the next time I open this, it's going to be good. All right. Add some more worms. Guys, can you see that? Probably not on that side. Boom. Okay. Cap it. Leave it. All right. That was the last one. So many buckets, so little time. All right. All right, folks. So basically these last rolls here will go into this bin, and I'll be complete with that. I hope this hasn't offended anybody. I look forward to some comments, some thoughts you may have, because I'm always learning. And I am aware of the pathogen aspect, but I'm also aware of the nasty chlorines and other chemicals that are in our water supply that we drink every day, including myself. So if you got to worry about one or the other thing, and if the science is indeed there, where running your red wigglers through, running your outputs through the red wiggler, and you know that it's gone through them, and then the cold composting aspect, I think we are greatly reducing the pathogens, and I think this is a far better alternative than going into our drinking water. So you campers, boaters, think about it. Think about this method, and if you need a hand, if you need any other questions, come join our Vernmenting Facebook group where we talk all about this kind of stuff. And that's all I have to say for now. I hope everybody's doing well in these trying times. God bless. Over and out.